All right. This is my book, The Thief on the Cross. And the cover actually looks like Dual Vocation Institute Tracy, TVI. Anyway, it's called The Thief on the Cross. My name is Rick Riley, known as Sundown. Uh, I'm going to read the dedication. This book is dedicated, first of all, to the Lord God and Jesus Christ, who formed me in my mother's womb and kept me, saved me, and redeemed me, and to my family. Also to my wife, Lori, who completes me. To all the prisoners still locked up. To all those caught up in the gang life. To my parole officer, Mr. Houston, one of out of Stockton, who graced me and encouraged me to write my story. Lastly, to you, the reader, who I hope come away with a different understanding and compassion for prisoners. Introduction. When telling any story, the beginning is always the best place to start. From the trial of Sundown. I am Sundown. This is my story. Let me tell it. When you tell it, you can be the hero. You can even say that you look like me, tall, dark, and handsome. Hollywood's dream of the ideal gangster leading man. When you tell it, you can even say that you too danced upon the volcano's edge, laughing at the pain, shouting at the madness, and singing into the darkness, like the madmen that we were and still are, once upon a time here in America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, and of bloody opportunities they never taught us about in school, and of bloody men like me who were baptized in blood and fed from the tables of bloody men, taught in the knowledge and ways of tried and proven warriors who had been to hell and back again. Home of murderers and thieves who dared to believe that we could become something and somebody, not just inside California prison walls, but even reaching out into the very streets and society from which we had been sentenced to be forgotten by the rest of the world. But we were men who refused to be forgotten, and with the blood of our enemies, we would carve our names on the pages. We would carve our names on the pages of criminal history. We would create and establish our own family, La Nuestra Familia, which in English means our family, a family made up of carnales, brothers, men of common chains, enemies, and cause, bloody desperados with nothing left to lose but our lives, lives that without something to still believe in held little or no value or sense of self worth to us. We believe that even from the depths of the darkest corners of our prison hell, we could have everything to gain if only we were willing to spill enough blood toward achieving it. First, we had to take control of the prisons from the Mexican mafia and the Aryan Brotherhood, or anybody else who stood in our way, and then take control of the streets. We would recruit prisoners and men such as we were. And so, like the ancient Aztec warriors of our common ancestry, we sacrificed the blood of our enemies, and if necessary, even the blood of our brothers, to that ancient left handed god of war, Huitzilopochtli. And with a warrior's sense of courage and pride, we embraced our bloody heritage. We were all of us Pancho Villas and Joaquin Murrieta's, with a dash of Michael Corleone of the movie The Godfather, poet warriors and treacherous men, knights in slightly tarnished armor. At least we believed we were, and we butchered as if we were. While this story is about me, it must also be about the bloody prison gang and criminal organization known as La Nuestra Familia, or NF for short. It has to be, because inside of this thing called me, I will always be La Nuestra Familia. I cannot bring back the dead or undo all the things that have happened inside of me because of La Nuestra Familia, which have forever helped to shape and form me into this man that I now am still today. The man who, but for the grace of God, would forever be a monster and a madman because of all the bloody cost that I have paid and all of the ghosts that still haunt my knife-wounded and bullet-riddled heart, soul, and spirit, with regret for all the innocents who got caught up and killed or destroyed in this forever war of love and rage, which we agreed to fight for and defend. It has been said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Speaking for myself and for most of the men, brothers, carnales, who all stood together in this bloody quest with me for our goals, we were sincere in our dedication and commitments. We were searching for some kind of redemption, respect and honor, and even life. For in the beginning, we understood and accepted that some of us would, would not make it to that age of honorable retirement written of in our Constitution, and that many of us would never be free from prison and might die behind the cold cement walls from which we were born. But we believe that at least in providing for this family, our family, and nuestra familia, we could still have worth as men and as warriors of honor in the defending and spilling of blood for it, and in having had to sometimes kill our closest friend or brother because of an allegiance we had vowed to our Constitution of laws and demands. And because when telling any story, the beginning is always the best place to start, then in the beginning of Nuestra Familia, remember that we were heroes to anyone and everyone inside the California prison system who were afraid of or tired of being ordered around and taken from by Mexican Mafia and Aryan Brotherhood and various other prison cliques. We were heroes, like knights in shining armor, riding on enemy territory and killing any and every enemy, oppressor, and persecutor of the prison masses. We took no shit from anybody, inmate, staff, or civilian. A death on sight rule of engagement policy was what we employed when it came to any of our enemies whose names appeared on our hit list, even those of our own brothers who had broken their vows to the Constitution and our family seriously enough to warrant the death on sight status that we had employed against our main enemies, the Mexican Mafia, or M for short, or the Aryan Brotherhood, or the AB for short. In the beginning, whenever any member of La Nuestra Familia drove up to any prison yard where there were any Mexican Mafia or Aryan Brotherhood members, the prisoners would come to us and would point them out to us. They would give us weapons or weapon stock from which any familiano had been taught how to fashion the tools of death and destruction. Then they would just be sure to stay out of the way because a familiano of La Nuestra Familia was on the yard now. He would be taking care of some business real soon and removing the hated and feared Mexican Mafia or Aryan Brotherhood member or shot caller at first sight, even underneath the gun tower if need be. There was going to be some shooting going on today from the gun towers, so you better bring your popcorn and get a good seat. The real gladiator show was on, as brought to you by the good folks of the Department of Corrections, who ignorantly and deliberately put known enemies on each other's yards to ensure the continuance of any real unity between prisoners, especially the Mexican American prisoners, would be impossible because of all the lives and blood that had been lost and shed by and on all sides. But remember, in the beginning, we were heroes. We pressured no one. We took from no one. We were merely fighting for and defending our own rights under the United States Constitution, which guarantees to all its citizens, whether imprisoned or free, the right to pursue our right to liberty, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Sometimes we were even concrete Robin Hoods, taking from the richer and giving to the poor. And sometimes we had no idea of what the hell we were doing. This newfound power was all new to us, but we learned and we grew, both inside California prison walls and in the streets of the cities throughout the state of California. And now, courtesy of the federal racketeering laws, we have spread across the United States the same way in which we began, drawing recruits from fellow prisoners to family members and criminal elements on the streets of California and America, to the point there now exist two separate factions of one original La Nuestra Familia, as will be revealed in this story. But I am getting ahead of myself in this story because the real beginning of my story begins with me. And so, because of any potential future criminal prosecution that could occur against myself because of the things being because of there being no statute of limitations for some crimes such as murder, kidnapping, etc., because of federal racketeering laws, i.e., RICO, and also to protect the innocents as well as the guilty, including myself. I must now change some names, except for some names that are already a matter of public record, or names that I wish to give honor to for their sincerity and loyalty. And now I write this book as if it were just a story of fiction that was reality. Also, if questioned by any law agency or prosecutors with respect to anything revealed in this book, let it be known that I will never, that I will swear in court that none of this is true and there is no such thing as La Nuestra Familia. And I will stand upon the Fifth Amendment, my Fifth Amendment rights, as guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States of America. Those who know the truth and those who matter and who were there, they will know the truth of my story. This story had to be told, and I was the one chosen by those who matter to write it, just as we once had a song written, recorded, and released throughout California, called in English The Ballad of La Nuestra Familia. So too has this book been encouraged and approved by those who matter to me. ¿Qué me importa mi muerte si no hay importancia en mi vida? Pero sé con mi muerte o mi vida yo defiendo las esperanzas y fe de mi gente. Es todo que me importa. Y con eso digo todo. Of what importance is my death if there is no importance in my life? But if in my death or my life I defend the hopes and faith of my people, this is all that matters to me. And with this, I say it all. Love and rage, Sundown.